Detroit Den 313. We are back. Steve and Will, we're talking that Detroit Lions football. Before we get started, you know what to do. Bang that subscribe button and don't forget the bell icon so you do not miss the new stuff. Steve, tell the people what we're talking, please.
William, I absolutely love what the Detroit Lions have done in free agency. I love every signing. We just talked about it the other day. We broke down every free agent. We gave it a grade. You said a B. I didn't want to do the same grade as you. I said B minus. We don't just give out A's here. We don't just show up and earn an A. You got to put some work in. The only work that I haven't seen the Detroit Lions do is get that established pass rusher. And I've been saying it all offseason. I want someone proven. Proven means you're available and you produce. Marcus Davenport could be both of those things. Very low risk signing, but I still feel like we need a little bit of insurance with him. And just in case something happens to Aiden Hutchinson, a tweaked hamstring, I just want to sure it up that we still have one of the top dog elite pass rushers. So we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. We're looking at some possible trades.
Steve, before people freak out and say that the Philadelphia Eagles aren't an option, they may end up just releasing Hassan Reddick. Like, so that could be a thing. Now, he's a guy that comes with a huge price tag, and that's not typically what Brad Holmes does. It's really just not what he does. So that kind of potentially maybe takes him off the table. But if he gets released, you're negotiating from scratch. You don't got to worry about that old contract. You can talk about a 1-year deal. It just worries me that he's talking about that 20 mil. Maybe you get him to sign for a 1-year deal just to get on the field, type of prove it and say that he can still play the game. But when I look at the Philadelphia Eagles roster, I'm looking at Hassan Reddick. I'm looking at Josh Sweat. I'm looking at Nolan Smith. I'm looking at Bryce Huff, and I'm looking at Brandon Graham. No team should have all of these guys.
We're not even going to talk about their secondary or their linebackers. Like they're loaded and they're paying some guys on top of who they have on offense. Like, I don't know exactly what their salary cap is. We kind of did a show about Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa.
I know what it is. It's $1 trillion.
Yeah, somehow they have unlimited funds while everyone else is fighting to get under the salary cap. Yeah. But we just talked about Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, I'm sorry, and Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
The Chargers cap hell. The Eagles aren't in cap hell, but they do have some guys they're really paying. Some guys that are requesting some big dollars. Are they going to release them? Are they looking for a trade? I don't know. So we're kind of going to do the same type of episode we did for the other two guys, just kind of spitballing some names, throwing some stuff out there, seeing what sticks to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's when I look at this group of guys and we understand that Josh Sweat just restructured his deal, but we've heard both rumors. Steve, you had brought it up the other day. You heard he restructured to make himself easier to find a trade suitor. Right.
Yes.
Which could potentially be true. Or maybe he restructured because he wants to stay. Who knows? Right.
Yeah, I've heard both. I don't know which one's true.
Yeah. If to me, as I look through the list of guys, they just signed Huff, so he's off of the table. Nolan Smith could be a guy. He's interesting because he's coming off of a shoulder surgery. He didn't really produce that much on the field. He's one of those guys that has tremendous talent and tremendous potential upside. If you could get him next to nothing, he'd be somebody maybe I was interested in. Still on that rookie deal. But the big names to me on the list are Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. Do either of those guys interest you?
1,000%. Both of them. 1,000% I'm interested. Now, if I have to take my choice, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but let's just start with Hassan Reddick. This guy has produced at a high level.
Yeah.
Mainly, for sure, the last 4 years since 2020 when he was with Arizona. He leaves Arizona. He goes to Carolina. He produces. He goes from Carolina to Philly the last 2 years. He produces. On top of producing, he plays games. 2020, 16 games played. 2021, 16 games played. The last 2 years, 17 games played. He's on the field. He's available. He's producing. 4 straight years, double-digit sacks.
Yeah, we're looking at 12, 11, 16, and 11 last season. The guy sacks the quarterback. I just don't know if I want to pay 20, 25 million. Like,
Not only does he sack the quarterback, there's a lot of guys you just named who were trying to sack the quarterback as well, and he's the one getting there.
Yeah, I love his game, man. I love his game. Like, there's nothing I can say negative about his game. I love his game. I love his versatility. I love his toolbox. He doesn't have to rush the same way every time. But what are we looking at? 30 years old.
I
And
know
I don't.
Will thinks that 30-year-olds are pretty much one step in the old folks home.
Hey man, listen. I like those young ones, man. I like those young ones. I like those young cars. No miles on them. You know what I mean? Just drive them off the lot. I'm the first guy really taking them for a spin and really getting after it, driving them to the limit. And they don't cost that much. You take them out to like, American Coney. See what I did there again? That's two.
Mm.
That's two shows in a row. You see what I
Yeah,
did?
we should be sponsored by America,
Man,
Detroit
hey,
Coney.
Coney, call us,
Yeah,
man. But
last shout out, last one right there.
but hey, yeah, take them to go get a Coney dog. They're happy, man. These 30-year-olds want to go to Root Chris, and it's I don't want to pay you 20 mil, man. No, I'm not trying to pay you 25 mil. I want a guy who's going to come in, maybe like the other guy, maybe like Robin, maybe like Josh Sweat. How you feel about him?
Josh Sweat, absolute stud. But real quick, last thing on Hassan Reddick, has not missed a game in his NFL career.
Is
Because
that
I
true?
forgot that the NFL schedule just changed to 17 games 2 years ago. So Hassan Reddick on the field 100%. Like, he does not miss games. But Josh Sweat, like I said, I know he restructured his deal. I can't remember. I don't know what it was before, but he restructured it down to $10 million, his base salary, with incentives up to 13. Now, I've read the reports. I've seen some Eagles writers who are saying that he restructured it to make himself easier to trade so that a team isn't taking on a big cap number. I've also seen reports that he's restructured it because he wants to stay in Philly and he plans on sticking around. I don't know, but if there's rumors out there, if there's smoke, there might be a little fire. Let's look into him. Josh Sweat. Let's just take a peek. 6'5", 265, perfect size for a defensive end. 6'5" on one side, Aiden Hutchinson on the other. A little bit younger, 26 years old. Fourth round pick, 2018, Florida State. Yeah, I mean, two very good options. Also very, very available. The last played 17 games this past year, 16 the year before that, 16 the year before that. He's on the field. He's producing. He's not as producing as much as Hassan Reddick, but he's going to require way more of a price tag. Do I need a Hassan Reddick who's going to come in and get 15 sacks, or can I get a little bit of a cheaper discount and get a Josh Sweat who's going to get somewhere between probably 7 and 10, which is still pretty damn good considering the Detroit Lions' second place on the team in sacks was Lee McNeil, I believe, with 5.5 or something. So immediate upgrade.
When I look at Josh Sweat, I immediately think about this. You got Marcus Davenport, right? Who's had some concerns with whether or not he'll be on the field or not. You also have now you bring in a Josh Sweat. Who's to say that we don't still draft one in a draft? Now you got a rotation of guys, kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not asking anyone to carry the whole load besides maybe an Aiden Hutchinson on his side, and I can still give him breaks here and there. And it's not a complete drop off. When we bring in our hybrids right now, the John Kaminsky's, the Pascals, it's you got a big time drop off in pass rush, right? So now we can bring one of these guys in, and not only will they have the tools in their bag, they'll also be fresh. And I think that's a game changer. So I would be interested for the price tag. But next question, and giving you your flowers, you kind of talked about it before we went on air. What do you think that we would have to trade to get one of these guys? And I won't even go with one, because I truly believe that there's a world that we're living in where Reddick might get cut. He might get released. But if you're trading to get Josh Sweat, what do you think you're going to have to give up? And you're spitballing. I'm putting you on a spot.
I was going to say a fourth, but I don't think I know we don't have a fourth round pick. So you're either overpaying with 3 or you're trying to lowball it with 5. I don't know. I think a fourth pick is fair, but if you don't hold one, you give up that second, third round pick. I think it's a good value. I think you're getting a very, very good edge rusher in the third round is essentially how you look at it. So if it's me, if I'm giving you a third, I'd probably rather have Josh Sweat just because he's younger. He's got more years in his prime. I love Hassan Reddick. He's probably my number one option, but it's just going to come down to value. It's going to come down to what it's going to cost to get him. Hassan Reddick's probably a second round pick. Are you getting a pass rusher who played every single game of his career, producing double-digit sacks? That's worth a second round pick to me. But if I can get Josh Sweat for a third, get my starting defensive end, no questions, consistent, available, upgrade over Marcus Davenport, upgrade over John Kaminsky, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. We got DJ Reader in the middle, Lee McNeil in the middle. Like, that defensive line Thoughts and prayers.
There we go.
Good
Thoughts and
luck.
prayers. Yeah, I like it, man. When you put it, I kind of was on the fence until you said that I'm drafting a guy in the third round with it. You know what I mean? Because even though he's not our draft pick, essentially that's what it is. I'm trading my
That's
third
what your
round
draft pick
draft
would
pick.
be.
That's what my draft pick is. So maybe I went. It just gives me an opportunity. Maybe I go with that receiver at 29. If that trade's on the books, man. So uh, still get my guard in the second round, and then I got my edge rusher with my third round trade. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all, especially with the price tag, $10 million. It's nothing crazy. You're not paying those crazy numbers, which Brad has shown he's truly not willing to do. He's not willing to pay these guys 20, 25 mil, 30 mil. It's not on the books for him unless apparently your name is Amon-Ra St. Brown. So, which still hasn't quite got done yet. So it'll be interesting to see what that number closes in on. But yeah, man, I like the idea of it. I like the idea of bringing in a Josh Sweat. I think it's something that could be, a viable option because these guys, obviously, as I was reading them off, they have pass rushers for days. So it's not like they're going to be struggling to get to the passer if they were to let them go. So I think it's a good option.
Here's a question.
Talk to me.
We know, all right, let's say this trade happens. We give up a third round pick for Josh Sweat. Maybe we're living in fantasy and maybe we're not. But let's just say that gets pushed through. We get Josh Sweat. The Philadelphia Eagles get a third round pick. What do the Detroit Lions need? We still have a first and a second round pick, a wide receiver, and a guard. That's literally all you need. You've fixed your whole entire defense completely. You've revamped the secondary. You added Josh Sweat, Marcus Davenport just in case, DJ Reader, Lee McNeil coming back, Aiden Hutchinson. We need a guard. So here's the question. And I kind of asked you this off camera too, but I figured we might as well talk about it. Yeah. Coyote Awasikwa. Yeah. He played pretty good at guard last year when he came in for some emergencies, when Glasgow was banged up, Frank was banged up. He didn't light the world on fire, but I think there's two guys I need to see, and we've already kind of seen Awasikwa play. Is he a starting everyday left guard to where we get into the draft and now I don't need one? It's not that big of a pressing issue. Maybe at 29, I'm taking a receiver. Maybe at 61, I'm getting a backup pass rusher. If they're putting a lot of faith in him, that offensive guard position went from extreme need to maybe like, okay, maybe, we can give him a year and see how it goes. We got 4 other beasts on the offensive line. Yeah. He might be the weak link in the chain, but we can work around it.
Well, before I answer that question, I got to take a moment to just give you your flowers on
for saying that name right.
Yeah. Two times in a row. It's 2 people that get his name right, you and his mother. So
that's true. I'm still practicing Ruka Roa Roa. I'm still nailing that one.
Absolutely. So yeah, man, hats off to you, man. Good stuff, man. But I think that he can definitely be a guy who plays the role until we draft a guy next season. I think that could be a thing, and maybe we see how he develops. When he came in last year, and at first we looked at Colby. Right, we went to him and we thought that maybe we had found a gem from William and Mary in the 7th round or wherever we drafted him. But that didn't seem to be the case. He had some struggles, especially in the pass game. And honestly, when Awasika came in, I forgot about him. So that could be a guy who we have something with. You know what I mean? Is he going to be a guy that's going to be a Pro Bowler? No. But if you're telling me maybe we get an extra weapon in the draft because we put a Band-Aid on it right now, maybe come see it next year, or maybe we look to get another guy for a depth piece in free agency, and we go after our edge rusher and our wide receiver. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all.
I think it's an option. I mean, I'm saying we need an interior offensive lineman. That's what a lot of people have been saying, but Coyote came in late in the season. And like you said, we forgot he even played.
Yep.
He didn't get any penalties. He didn't give up any sacks. He did his job. Probably just forgot he was even on the team. But I'm sitting here looking today and I'm like, all right, let's look into Josh Sweat. Let's look into Hassan Reddick. Well, we need a guard. Let's look. Who do the Lions have on the roster right now? His name came up and I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I remember him starting a few games last year toward the end of the season. We didn't have to talk about him. So that's another question. Is he worth 2024? Hey, you're the starting left guard. I'm putting my faith in you. So now I go into the draft. I don't need to get an interior offensive lineman unless it's for backup. I think our offensive line is solid. We could use some backup pieces, but is it worth a 1st or 2nd round pick? I don't know. I think you can go out and you can get that wide receiver. You can get some depth on the D end, outside linebacker, corner, safety. It just opens up more doors. If he's available to play 17 games, that's going to be a Dan Campbell Ben Johnson, Hank Friendly decision that's going to have to decide that pretty soon.
Yeah, you're right, man. I'm interested to see which way they go, for sure.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out here in about 5.5 weeks because it's getting to be draft time. But as it sits right now, I just want to shore up that defensive side of football. I want to make that defense on par with the offense, top 10 in both categories. You come in here on a Sunday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday night, you're going to get your hands full. You got to worry about our offense. We got a bunch of guys we can throw on defense in your meetings. Hey, these are guys you got to plan for now. It's not just an Aiden Hutchinson. It's Josh Sweat. It's a Hassan Reddick potentially. It's a DJ Reader, how he's going to wreck your game. How are you going to change your blocking schemes? It's good. I want problems on that other team's bulletin board throughout the week.
I agree, man. Before we get off of here, man, real quick, I just got the notification. Mike Williams, the guy we've been following, he's with the Jets going on a visit right now.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun. Aaron Rodgers is going to be running for his life because they still don't have an offensive line. So I'm not worried about the Jets. We don't play the Jets. We won't play the Jets till the Super Bowl. We already know what happened last time Aaron Rodgers threw a pass against the Detroit Lions. Daddy Kirby picked him off, 3 times that season? Ball hawk. He's waiting for you. Daddy's waiting. So not worried about the Jets.
No doubt.
But that isn't true. Also breaking news, doesn't affect the Detroit Lions. Dallas Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch medically retired today.
Yeah. Is that from when Trent Williams threw him into the defender? And
he did get manhandled by someone on a play. I can't remember who it was, but he wasn't even in the league very long. So let me see. After a 6-year career, so it's not for long. 6 years is a pretty good run according to the average of how long people last in the NFL. So
yeah, and then it's 3 years to get vested. So he's going to be a vested player. So that's cool.
Yeah, so he retired. Mike Williams probably going to end up with the Jets. Let us know what you think about this trade. Let us know how you feel about Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat. It's kind of a fantasy, but maybe it's a reality that it's something that the Eagles are looking at. Maybe they use a 3rd-round pick that we give them and they try to get younger on the offensive line because that's something they have to keep strong too. With Kelsey retiring, Landon Dickerson just getting $75 million a year, it seems like. They got some guys they need to get a little bit younger, in my opinion. So let us know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe. We'll be back later with some more content.
Peace.